and the mentoring that can occur, the confidence that can occur. And yes, the other side of it is that teachers can work with students at the same maturity level, peers can get to know each other as a class. So that's a very difficult decision to be made. At present, I'm happy with how we're doing things. Doesn't mean that we can't examine that the concept in the future.
Okay. Mindy, there's a continuing concern regarding the safety of our youth while they're in school. What measures need to be taken to ensure that our schools are safe?
Well, I don't want to sound redundant, but I'm going to. Heidi Larson talked about the addition of a new resource officer, which I think is a great addition. However, because of the demands of his job, he doesn't really get around to all the schools like he should. I mean, at first when we started the resource officer, we thought high school and middle school. Well, there's a lot of need in the elementary schools. And so, you know, if we can find some money someplace or more, we did a grant with the city of Jamestown, I think, for this resource officer. If we can find more monies available like that, a grant or something like that, to get another resource officer just dedicated to elementary school, I think that's a need. And I also am proud of the fact that over the last year we've added another guidance counselor to our elementaries, full-time guidance counselor, so that'll help with some of the safety issues too. And I also think we need to add some more teachers' aides. I think all that is, and that goes back to your question about special needs too. I think those are very important, and we need to continue to have that high on our radar screen.
Okay. Greg, do you support the continuation of funding early retirement for teachers, and why?
Yes, I think it's a great program. I voted in favor of that program because I felt that that was something that our teachers were expecting, and it's something that kind of gives a reward for the years of service. The other advantage to that, of course, is the newer teachers that are coming up and giving them an opportunity as other teachers retire, gives them an opportunity to come on. But we're in a challenging time right now, which makes it kind of difficult because if you look at the economy, teachers are, like any other professional group, they're working longer and putting in more time because they really can't retire at this time. So I think we have to look at the current situation and continue to look at that as we go forward so that we can make sure that we have a viable program.
Okay. Well, one last, and you just very briefly, because we only have about 2 minutes. What would you do in your first? Well, not your first year, but what's something you want to do next year?
Well, these aren't really, earth-shattering goals, but one of the things I think we need to do is implement a very serious recycling program in our schools. I think there's a lot of recycling that's already being done, which I commend them for. But we can virtually recycle everything we throw away these days, and that would save the school, in a cost-effective way. We could save the school some money. And I also think that we should, we as board members, require our staff, particularly teachers, to do professional development. And I think we as board members ought to expect that out of ourselves as well.
What do you think, Shelley? What do you want to do the first year?
I want to improve communication between our families, our students, our teachers, and our administration and school board. The school board has done some tremendous things in making themselves approachable through the coffees, through the open mics. I want to continue that concept so that we can continue to have communication that goes back and forth between families and teachers and administration, where we're all on the same team with the same goals, trying to make our children and the programs priorities and continue to improve the wonderful system that we have here in Jamestown.
Greg.
Yeah, I'm really excited about a program that we have at Lincoln Elementary. It's a positive behavior program, and this is where they're acknowledging positive behavior of the kids, the 5th and 6th graders, to the point where they try to catch them doing something right. I mean, a lot of times people will get calls about, oh, my student did this and that, but this is a wonderful program, and I'd like to see it expanded to the other elementary schools and even to the middle school and high school where we can get some positive behavior, because I think overall that gives the kids more of a positive feeling and they'll approach education better.
Okay. Well, thank you, all of you, for coming out. And these are rural candidates, and city people can vote for rural candidates too.
Yep.
So thank you for coming and the answers. And if anybody has any questions, I know they know where to find you.
That's right. Thank you.
So thanks a lot for coming today. candidates running for the Jamestown Park Board are Larry Knoblich, Ron Olson, Mike Landscoot, and Joyce Heinrich. Larry Knoblich could not be with us tonight, but Ron Olson, Mike Landscoot, and Joyce Heinrich are. So I'm going to give each of them a couple of minutes to tell us about themselves, and then 3 more minutes they can we'll have some questions going on. So, Ron, we're going to start with you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on with you?
All right, thanks, Pam. My name is Ron Olson. I'm a Jamestown High School grad. I have 2 daughters, Kelly and Clacy, with both attended the Bismarck and St. Mary's. My vision for Park and Rec Board is to maintain the parks, the golf course, the soccer fields, and the ball diamonds in the best possible conditions they could be in. I served on the Park and Rec Commission Board previously, and I feel my experience will be very beneficial. I enjoy introducing new ideas and seeing those ideas become a reality. I am a firm believer that our Parks and Recreation Department can make a difference to our community. Please vote Ron Olson on June 8th. Thank you.
Okay, Mike Landscoot.
I'm Mike Landscoot. I lived in town most of my life. My wife is Penny's here. I'm fortunate both my daughters moved back to Jamestown. I've been a park board commissioner for 8 years, and I've really enjoyed it. Over the 8 years, we've made a lot of improvements on the park board with the winter sports arena, the disc golf, the Jack Brown Stadium, and I'd like to keep continuing that. So I'd like to continue being commissioner. Thank you.
Okay, Joyce.
Thanks, Pam.
You can.
I'm Joyce Heinrich, candidate for re-election to the Jamestown Park Board. My family moved to Jamestown in 1960, and I attended elementary and high school here in Jamestown. While in school, I participated in gymnastics and swimming before it became high school sanctioned sports. I later attended Morehead State College and received a Bachelor of Science degree in elementary and physical education. I also competed in college gymnastics. I was a certified gymnastics judge for 25 years. I taught and coached at Gackle, North Dakota, and in Jamestown Public Schools and St. John's Academy. I'm married to Dwayne Heinrich. I have 1 son who is married and resides in Jamestown. We have 3 grandchildren. Some of my fondest memories of growing up in Jamestown are its parks. Ice skating in the Hippodrome and skating on the parks, rivers and the parks, summer programs. I worked 7 summers for the Park Board and the Parks Activity Program when in high school and in college. I've been on the Park Board for 8 years, and I truly enjoy working with the board and the staff, and I'm very excited about the future of Jamestown and would appreciate your vote on June 8th. My thanks to Jamestown College, Dakota Central Telecommunications, and the Chamber of Commerce for having this event. Thank you.
Thanks, Joyce. Mike, we're going to start with you. Most of the parks in Jamestown are owned and managed by the Park Board. However, some of the parks are owned and managed by the City of Jamestown. Why aren't all the parks owned and managed by the Park Board?
I think the only park that we don't own is that one on 5th Street. I think it's Falks Park that they donated to the city, but all the rest of them are owned and operated by the Park Board. And we maintain them and keep them up to date, and so that was the only park that I know of.
Okay. All right. Very good. Joyce, what direction would you see the Park Board move toward as it determines its future goals, and how will that direction be funded?
Well, I've been a firm believer in the last 8 years of our future planning, and we're trying to do that, prioritizing different events like we've got our kite flying coming up now. We've got something going like every month, bringing tourism in and things like that. Just mainly thinking ahead, what needs to be done, a lot of maintaining, and where that money has to go. We've got some huge buildings. We're trying to keep up with that.
Okay.